Warning: Jeremy and Dude are highly untrained and highly unprofessional. Viewer discretion is advised. No side-by-sides were hurt while making this video.
Come on.
What?
Where are you filming?
Making a mess.
It's a
Are you
how-to
making a mess?
video. I'm showing the people how to.
That's how you do it?
Yeah. That's a great job. What's up, guys? As you can see, Dude's 21 Pro XP is in a few pieces. We've got a few projects going on for his machine. I don't know if you're going to see those before or after this one, but this one, we're focused on one thing, and that's the crappy low gear in the Pro XP. The machines work good, but if you're trying to do technical trails with big rocks, the belt slips quite a bit. You can do a little over 40 in these machines in low, so the low gear is just too high. So we're gonna take care of that today.
It's an easy fix.
You don't need to have your machine this torn apart to do it, but there's other things happening, and since it's already torn down this much, we're gonna go ahead and pull the trans today. Let me start off by saying that we've never done this before, so if you're using this as a reference, hopefully that's fine, as long as we don't screw up. If you've also never done this, take a lot of pictures, take your time, stay organized. We're just your average idiots in a garage, so keep that in mind. This gear reduction, it's not a kit exactly, it's using Polaris gears. This combination has a lot of different names. I've seen it anywhere between 47% and 53% for low, 12 for high, 12 for reverse. So that's the setup he's gonna be doing. It's got the new reverse shaft, 25 tooth, new 25 tooth low gear, 67 tooth low gear, and then a 48 tooth, I think they call it a second stage gear. While we're in there, we're gonna put the Cryoheat pinion retainer plate in there just for extra insurance. And then I'm not 100% sure where this goes, but this is a high-speed shim, and I think this eliminates a couple of snap rings. So we'll figure out where that goes when we're in there. I think the hardest part's gonna be getting the transmission out of there. So we're gonna get right into it. First thing we did, we're starting on the clutch side. We removed these two bolts, 6mm head, and then we tapped and pried it off the splines. And now we're gonna remove the clutches. Your primary is a T60. This is a 10mm. I think the 2020 is a different size, if I remember correctly, but that's the next step. Don't lose the shims.
Whoopsie daisy!
So there's these shims in your secondary. If you don't know, that's what aligns your clutches this way. So don't lose them, because you want to put this back together the way you took it apart.
Red with your turn.
So we might need to use a big breaker bar. Polaris really cranks these things down. Or we cranked it down. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way to go, dude. It was just your on the camera.
Yeah, I don't know why you put it there.
"75 years later."
So we got it off. It wasn't on camera, so I had to put it down. And but it was just more pulling and it popped off. And then you got another spacer, the bearing, and then another spacer here, so we can pull this stuff off. Next is the fun part, getting that inner sheave off. For this, we got to use the Pro XP puller, and we're going to go straight to the bread method because these things do not want to come off. Essentially, we're going to fill the hole up with bread and thread the puller in on the bread, and that helps pop the clutch. So yeah, last time I did this on my machine, and it worked out good.
Like that?
Just like that. We got it. It turns it into like a dough. This one was really on there. Mine was easier, but he's got 1,500 miles and this has never been apart. So, kind of expected this. But you just got to keep at it, keep adding bread, keep trying, and eventually it'll pop. So at first we tried this hamburger bun and it was too dry, and then these Premier loaves seem to work pretty good. The bread's kind of wet, and yeah, it's gonna make for a hell of a cleanup, but it got the job done. So good love. We gotta get this black piece of plastic off first. Those are all T30s. Once we do that, we're gonna get all the hardware out, holding the entire shroud on, and we gotta remove the wiring off of this, and then I think we can pop that off. Okay, so I said to remove all that hardware, and that's true. One thing I did not realize is those are long ass bolts that are different size lengths. So you gotta hold a nut on the other side with a wrench for this top one. It's hard to get to. All these other ones you can use sockets, but we're labeling them because they're different size lengths, so we remember exactly which hole the bolt came out of. And that one up there, that's the hard one to get to, that little hole right there. The thermostat housing is in the way to get a socket on there, so I had to hold it with a wrench while dude got it with the impact on the other side. And that's the real hard one. Then there's two nuts here. You can still see the threads right there for another one. Based on my research via YouTube, you need to have the machine in high, not to get it out of the machine, but when you split the cases, is my understanding. So before we take the linkage off, we're gonna put the machine in high. So I got some of the wiring pulled off here. On this one, we also have to get this vent tube off. So it's just one of those spring clamps, and then I'm sure this hose is gonna be a real pain in the ass to get off, but that's one other thing we gotta do. And then it's just loosen this up, pull this off, and then get these mounting plates off. And then whatever else dude's got going on that side. Yeah. Sounds like he's having a good time over there. All right, guys, I think we got everything out we need to. We got all the wiring. We got the little vent tube, which is a pain in the ass. So we got this mount out. Some of these bolts were hard to get out because the engine flops this way and is putting pressure on it. So I guess we should have taken those out first. But dude got this little airbag here and it worked out good. It lifted the motor enough. We can get it out. And he originally got this, I think he saw something on Facebook where people were using these to put this back together to get all the holes lined back up. So it already came in handy. So we got everything taken off now and we're ready. We're gonna try to shimmy this bitch out of here.
Shake it.
There, that's light.
Dude, that's gonna break. Lightweight.
No, it ain't.
Oh, she's flexing a little bit. You got like something, like a piece of wood or something?
No,
for
it's
that
fine.
one? Dude!
I have it on the operating table, but it got a little late tonight, so we're going to pick this up tomorrow. For us, that's gonna be one sleep. For you guys, we'll be tearing this apart in a second. And we're back, day 2. Got our patient here, we're ready to tear it down. Remember, if you're doing this and you haven't done it before, like us, take a lot of pictures, take your time, be organized, and it should go smoothly. So first thing, we gotta pull the linkage off, 13 millimeter. Gotta take this clip off and get the gear position sensor out. 10 millimeters here and pop this cover off.
Up a little higher.
Dude. Fuck.
Well,
So we got the cap off. It didn't come apart the way it's supposed to. Normally the cover comes off and this shaft stays in, but everything came shooting out. But essentially it looks like this, and this spring goes here. It's a pain to get in, so we're not gonna put it in because we're in the teardown process, but it goes here and that's what it looks like. So after that, we're just gonna be pulling all these parts out. And then you can see when you put it back together, there's like a little location mark. There's a 2 and a 1. Next up, we're gonna hit all the case bolts. They're all 12 millimeter, so we'll remove those and then we can split the case. I was gonna ask if my hand's bleeding.
Oh, what'd you do?
I don't know. I cut it on something. God damn it. I felt something wet on my hand. I'm pretty certain this is the reverse shaft here that we're gonna be changing. Here's the 2 low gears and here's the stage 2 gear. So that we'll be changing all that. And then here's the pinion retainer plate. We'll be changing that. And we're still trying to figure out where that high-speed shim goes. But that's it. We're gonna take some pictures and then we're gonna start pulling shafts and we can start swapping out gears. It looks intimidating, but it's not that bad. Just like I said, take your time. All right, guys, I forgot to hit record and we've already pulled some of the shafts out, but it's as easy as that. We're pulling it out. I'll make sure I show you when we put it back together, but now we're trying to get the final drive out, but we have to fight that bottom seal. So depending on whether you're changing out the pinion retainer, we got to pull that hardware and pull this shaft out. We're gonna get everything cleaned up and then we're gonna start swapping gears. So I'll get back with you guys when we're done with that. So first thing we're doing, we need to change out the pinion retaining plate. To do that, we gotta get this bearing and gear off. The gear puller doesn't fit behind this bearing, so we're gonna try with pry bars to remove it that way. So everything we're gonna pull off, we're gonna put the outside face down, so then when we build it, we just restack it right back up.
And also, I've been checking the vegetables.
So next up is a snap ring. Oh,
That's heavy though. What's that?
the snap rings are gonna be a pain in the ass. So now we're gonna pull this one off with a puller and then swap out this plate. Pulling the pinion retainer plate. Apparently they are smaller on the just regular turbo models. This thing is pretty thick, but the one from Cryoheat is way thicker. This probably won't fail on this machine, but this is just kind of a insurance piece that nothing will, because apparently on the older models these things are super thin and they do fail. And then it's a matter of just reinstalling it back the way we took it apart. So we got the new pinion retainer plate on, we got these pressed back on, so he's just gonna drop this one back in the housing.
Line up.
There we go.
Like that.
So we're gonna just throw the final drive back in now. On to the next shaft. Alright, so we're doing this shaft next. I don't know all the technical names. I know this is one of the low gears. Remember, we're idiots in a garage. The main disassembly, or the cases, we're literally doing it on a kitchen table with a piece of paper on it. And we have a little portable butcher block that we're taking the gears off on. So remember, it's amateur hour, so I don't know the technical names, but this one gets a 25 tooth gear now. So we got to remove this bearing, this snap ring, pull this gear, put the new gear on, and slap this one back together. And then this shaft's done then. We have a 6-inch puller, and it's too big for those little gears, so we're gonna press this one out. That was up, so it's going back down. And now we got another really cool snap ring we gotta pull off.
Roller one down.
Now we got a washer. Every ring has a washer. We gotta pop this one out. So we're gonna press this one off.
Dude.
Easy, dude. So we got it pressed off. Here's the old one. Here's the new one. can see the size difference here. So set this guy aside, and now we gotta press this one on.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So we got this one all back together, everything's pressed on, ready to roll. Now we're gonna attack the stage 2 gear, which is this guy here. So we're gonna remove this bearing, this snap ring, then this gear, and swap it out.
Back to this?
Yeah. So we got the old second stage one pressed off, and now we're gonna press the new one on and reverse the process. Put the bearing back on, or put the snap ring and washer back on, and then press the bearing back on, and then this shaft is done. Just like that, another one done. We got one more left, and it's this guy here. This is gonna be the hardest one. This is the reverse shaft we have to change, and one gear on this. So we have to pull this whole thing apart and basically stack it back up on this new shaft here and switch one gear out. So we'll see, a lot of snap rings, and it'll be fun. So that is by far not the best practice for that, but you really need like a 3-inch puller for this, which we do not have. So we've been using the hydraulic press for a lot of things, but there's not enough room to get this bearing off. So that's what we had to do. Like I said, I suggest not doing that, but it worked. Now we're just gonna unstack it. Yep.
Back to your favorite part.
Yep. More snap rings. That's a very nice method.
Yeah.
That's good. Shim. The side we just pulled off is the low speed side, and this is also the gear we're swapping. So I got it here, and that's what we're gonna swap. So we got the bearings, and we're starting to stack it up over here. So we're just gonna add this to our low speed side stack. So when we put it back together, we have that, and we'll set that one aside. Since we're doing the 53, 12, 12, or whatever you want to call it, this shaft gets replaced, so we still have to pull this whole high speed side off. We're not swapping anything, we're just pulling it off, and we're going to put it on that new reverse gear shaft. So we got the bearing off, nothing special, it's just more of our unconventional pry-bar deal, and woohoo, another snap ring. Ow!
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your pain?
Okay.
So there should be the washer, but we don't need that anymore, right? You're not one on? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna stack it this way, and then when we rebuild it, I'll.
Tell them what's up.
Yeah.
Another one?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, another one, dude. One more. Walker.
Yep. Bearing. Got the shaft emptied. This one's no more. Now we have this one, and all it is these teeth. We have 25 teeth now versus 27 on the factory one. So basically, we're going to reverse the process, stack it back up, and the thing to note here is when you stack it back up, you can see your snap ring groove here. You wanna, well, not even want, you have to make sure you get your snap ring in this groove, because you can get tricked by this undercut here. If it goes in there, there's gonna be too much play, and it's gonna probably be a bad day for you. Same thing over here, you can see the groove here. You do not want it in here. And yeah, just make sure you get it in the grooves and not next to the splines. We're gonna start with the high-speed side, because that shim that I was talking about, that we didn't know where it went, it goes on this side. And yeah, I'll show you when we get to that, but. Take our little bearing. First gear. Washer. Cool snap ring.
Yeah, I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
Looks in there.
Yep. So when you do it, you want it like this. You can see it's in the groove, and then this is the second groove here that you can get tricked by. So you want to make sure it's all the way down. So our leaning tower of parts here is not doing well, so we're going to keep stacking. Make sure we get it in that groove. Does that look groovy?
No.
No?
No. Or, yeah.
Okay. Then we have our thrust washer, gear and bearing. Like so. Normal circumstances next would be the thrust washer and snap ring, but the high-speed shim from Cryoheat, this one here, eliminates that. So it basically eliminates any chance of failure of that snap ring. So that will go in place of the snap ring. We're gonna press the bearing on. All right, so we got the high-speed side done. Got the shim in instead of the snap ring. So now we can start stacking up the low speed side, or low gear side, and we start off with the new gear. Washer. It's in the wrong one.
Yeah.
But these little jaws went down in too far.
Busted it? It's in.
That's it.
It's in.
The final bearing. So dude's just tightening the new pinion retainer plate down. You get new hardware, got red Loctite on there. So we're just gonna get that snug down and then we can start putting all the shafts back in and rebuilding the case. Dude, you're doing great.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Good work.
Yeah, see? Just like that. That's how it goes.
I needed to do these at the same time, didn't I?
Yeah.
Just like that.
Like that.
Put this fella in. Can you lift up on that middle one?
Yeah?
Yeah, like that. Oh.
2 very boring minutes later.
Oh.
Come on, dude. We got more gears to put in.
It looked all right to me.
So that was a good example of why you take pictures. We thought we screwed something up because there's a gap here, but we had this little last doodad that kind of connects those two. However, I just did it. There we go.
Yeah.
That should make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I know they were on this side. That?
Yeah. Just like that.
So I got everything back in. Now we gotta put some gray RTV and then put the lid back on. And we're gonna get it down to a light squish and let it sit, and then we're gonna torque it down. All right, so we have a little squish. The sealant is starting to come out a little. So now we're gonna wait an hour. And while we're waiting, we're gonna finish assembling this part. We're gonna line up these two little timing marks here. So we'll put the two dots. They're gonna line up down here. This gear is keyed. So that's only gonna go on one way, like that. And then we're gonna drop this guy down in like that, so they're lined up. And then or yeah. And then we got this guy here too. also keyed. Somewhere. Like that. And then this shaft is keyed as well. And then now we have to try and get this spring on this little knob and squished in between here. So I don't know a good way of doing this. So we're gonna try and do it without losing the spring, because that would be what you call bad in the old country. So you're saying support it here?
Yeah.
So that's it. It's in. We're gonna lay another bead of RTV around this guy, put the cover back on, and then just wait till it dries, and we'll torque all this stuff down, and then we get to put it back in the machine.
Yay.
Yay. All right, guys, we are on the following day now, and we got it all back together. This side, still a little wiring to zip tie up, but other than that, the gear reduction is done. We can't really test it out because there's obviously other things going on with this machine, but we did go through all the gears, make sure when it's in park, it's actually in park, reverse is reverse, and we spun it in every gear. Everything turns freely, and everything's where it's supposed to be, so we're assuming it's good. We didn't really film putting it back in because it's just reverse of taking it out, and as far as lining it up, we used pry bars, the little airbags, and yeah, it's just reverse of taking it apart. The project itself is not hard. It's just takes a lot of time, and there's just a lot of work to do, but doing the stuff, I think most people can do it. It just looks scary, but it's really not that bad. Like I said, just a lot of work. So that's it for this one. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Thank you, friend. That really means a lot to me.